All right. Hey, wrestling and judo fans tonight. Kurt Clapier here. Sorry, normally I have better lighting, but we had a crazy night tonight. In the middle of another podcast, our alarm got set off and had to deal with that. Anyways, we're coming to you live. We got Mack Bolen again tonight. Mack's our go-to host in Illinois. And I'm going to turn it over to him because he's got more of his judo buddies on. We're going to talk about wrestling, judo, how that all ties together, and why really you should do both. So I'm going to listen in on the conversation and help out on the technical side. But Mack, it's on you, buddy.
Okay. First of all, everybody, welcome to the program. I've got tonight Aaron Cohen, who judo player, senior national champion, participated in the 2008 Olympics, currently assistant coach at Deerfield. J.D. Olivia who is currently now the coach at DeKalb. And we're going to kind of talk a little bit about Judo Wrestling Connection. And before I get started, I want to dedicate tonight's show to the memory of Erwin Cohen, who, Judo legend, 1972 Olympic champion, Olympic coach, numerous times senior national champion.
Not Olympic champion, but Olympian.
No, Olympian in 72. And
champion in our hearts.
Yeah, and, co-founder with Cohen's Judo. And shout out to Steve, RJ, Mark, the entire Cohen family, who, quite frankly, I owe a huge debt of gratitude to, and in my heart, they're also part of my family. So, to get started here, Aaron, go ahead and, obviously, you started in judo. Talk about your early days in judo.
First, thank you very much. That was really nice. Talk about my family, and as always, we consider you and Brad. You guys are a family too, and you'll always be a part of our club and family. Just when we were, my dad grew up on the North Shore of Chicago in Rogers Park, and I think he used to tell me stories like how my grandfather used to try to get him in fencing or something, but they didn't offer it. They didn't offer it where he was from, so they had a judo program though. So my dad and uncle got started in judo, and they just caught on real quick and my father and uncle both became Olympians and Olympic coaches as well. And they produced someone who's like our uncle who lives in the area, Bobby Berland, who's Olympic silver medalist.
Right, 1984.
Yeah, so he still comes around all the time, Bob, and.
Oh, he's a character.
The best. And, then since we were born, I think it was at the age of like 7 or 8 where my dad just started a judo club. My dad and uncle started a judo club, and they got us involved. And then when they offered, when we got into, we moved to Buffalo Grove, and they had a wrestling program in the school, and that's how we kind of got started. And we knew that it would help our judo. So we were always surrounded by, because my dad and uncle were the coaches of the Olympic and world teams, we were always surrounded by all these great Olympians, Jimmy Pedro, Jason Morris, and judo that were Olympic medalists, and they were also wrestlers. I know you guys talked to Jason the other day.
Yeah.
So he's like, it's kind of funny. He's known me since day one, him and Jimmy. So, we knew those guys wrestled, and they were kind of our idols, and we kind of wanted to follow in their path. So,
yeah, and this is kind of follow up. A few days ago, we did a podcast with Jason and Steve Mocco and John Kading. And John Kading, totally known for his wrestling, but he practiced judo at the Cohens.
Yeah, he was. My dad used to tell me stories about how good he was at judo, and that he should have never quit.
Yeah, he actually got into wrestling because he lost a football bet.
Yeah, I know. I heard that.
No, it was that's hilarious. Okay, so
judo
JD,
was our first passion.
JD, now you recently are coaching now at DeKalb, but you've actually had a little bit of experience with both wrestling and the judo side. Go ahead and speak about that.
when I was coaching at South Elgin High School in my hometown, South Elgin, for on and off for about 10 years, and we were looking. We can't do like off-season stuff in the high schools, so we were looking for a place to work out. And this dojo in town opened up, and they kind of said, "Hey, why don't you guys come train here? We won't charge anything." So I said, "Okay," and it went fine. And then it was new. It was like right when our school first opened over there, and one day none of the kids showed up, and I asked the guy who was over, I said, "Hey, why don't you teach me a little bit of judo? It'll probably make me a better wrestling coach." And I practiced it for probably about 5 years. And I wish I'd found it when I was younger, because I was probably like 28 when I first started playing around with judo. I love it. I love it almost as much as I love wrestling. I just wish I had found it when I was younger, and wasn't trying to start a family and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I want to make a kind of a side bit here, particularly because now we have women's wrestling. Yet, the irony is, like, for men's judo players, if you're a wrestler also, you can go out and find tons of wrestling experience. But if you're a woman wrestler, it's limited. Yet, if you're a woman wrestler, and women's freestyle, of course, being an Olympic sport, women's judo has been going on for years. And if you're a female wrestler and you want to get the competition, you want to improve your wrestling game, go into judo. If you're a parent and you have a daughter and you think you want to get her into wrestling, get her to judo, because she will have a ton of competition opportunities in women's judo, way more than in women's wrestling. And it will prepare her for success in women's wrestling.
And in the tournaments when they're young, the girls will only fight girls.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Whereas in a lot of if you go to like our kids tournaments, if there's a girl wrestler, she's going to be competing against boys mostly.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so Aaron, you and RJ kind of picked up the ball. You now run, the Cohen's training center for both judo and wrestling. When did you add wrestling?
We added it, I think, in about 2009. It was kind of a situation with JD. At Deerfield, we're a real small school, and there's not a lot of space limited. And the day season ends, we got to roll. It's actually not even the day it ends. And we still have to do it every year. The day we leave for state, that Wednesday, we leave for the state tournament. We roll up all the mats and put them in the closet and put them away. Unless we win the regional.
Right.
So, but even then, we roll up the mats, we put them in the closet, and then they're stored there till our summer camp, and then until the season starts. So this was just another opportunity for our kids at Deerfield, and this is when I think we were starting to turn the corner a little bit. We weren't a very good team. We weren't very strong, but we had some kids that really wanted to get better and start making state a regular appearance. And it just gave more opportunity for the kids to come and practice, and it was a good change of pace. Because a lot of the kids at that time, they weren't into freestyle and Greco, so it was nice for them to learn a little bit of judo, and judo in their wrestling. I didn't necessarily have them in the judo class. I just, grab your partner and no gi, and I showed them a lot of judo that works in wrestling.
Go ahead. Name a few techniques. Of course, we all know, the inside leg trip, which is
Ochigari.
Right, and some of the other stuff.
We do Ochigari, Kochigari, the sticker, which is a kind of a made up name.
Yeah, a foot sweep, basically.
Basically a foot sweep.
Yeah.
And then we do some inner leg sweeps and stuff like that with Sotogari and Uchimata.
Yeah. So talking purely wrestling ties, do you kind of favor more the underhook?
Oh yeah, I love the overhook.
Okay. Over or underhook? Yeah.
Personally, I had a funky judo style though.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, my brother preferred the underhook. He was a beast from there.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, RJ was a state qualifier.
I'll never forget. Like I was going crazy in the stands with RJ. He wrestled his senior year at state. He wrestled Charles Martelli.
He was a 2-time state champ. For those of you who don't know.
And RJ inside tripped him to his back right off the bat, right away from. I was like going crazy in the stands. I was only a sophomore in high school. I didn't know anything, and I just knew the kid was really good, and I was going crazy.
Yeah. Okay,
So
JD.
he ended up losing, but
good. Yeah, he did. He did. Yeah, I mean, Martelli was in wrestling was a real deal. 2-time state champ. He was the real deal. Okay, JD. Just real quick, talk about your evolution from past and how you moved through your various coaching positions to where you are now at DeKalb.
It's been a weird
16
it's okay.
months. Go ahead, spill it.
Okay. I was at South Elgin. Oh crap! On and off for about 10 years. Baby just started crying. I was at South Elgin on and off for about 10 years, and I just kind of felt like I needed to do something else. Like I wasn't happy. We adopted a kid, and it went bad. We brought one of the kids from the team in, and he was making some poor choices.
Sure.
And he was selling drugs out of our house.
Oh my gosh.
So we kind of had to kind of get rid of him. You know, we gave him a second chance, and he pretty much told me, "No, I don't want to be here anymore. I hate you."
Wow.
So
wow.
that kind of hurt, and I kind of needed to make a change, and I saw that the job at Harvard was open, and I decided to give that a try. It was something completely different than what I was used to. It was a 2A school, a lot of tradition, but I don't want to bury the school. It wasn't a good fit for me. We'll just put it that way. The kids were awesome. The families were awesome. I'm not a head coach is kind of what this whole experience taught me. I'm a freelance guy. I own my own business. I set my own work schedule.
Well, your video business is great. I mean, if anybody has watched any of the videos at the state tournament, I mean, particularly this last year, it was spectacular.
Yeah, I think we do a better job every year. So Matt and I do. We kind of push ourselves to challenge every year.
Oh, but, absolutely. No, the last one was that was spectacular.
Yeah, I was really happy with that one. We'll see if we get it off the ground this year or not.
My favorite one was with that long scramble with Prater.
Oh, that's a class. That's the best highlight we've ever shot. Like sometimes you just get lucky and have the right kids doing.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
But anyways, so it didn't.
Go ahead.
I didn't mesh well with the principal there, and it was time to. It just wasn't working. So and we have a baby. My wife just gave birth the week after the season ended. Our first child came. So I'm basically stay-at-home dad now, and I couldn't be back and forth like I was.
Dude.
Yeah, I was just gonna say you're both in the same boat.
Brody's pictures up on Instagram and Facebook. So and my best friend from college, Sam Hyatt, got the head coaching job at DeKalb, and I always said, if you got the coaching job, if you got a job, I'll be your assistant. He called me out on it, and it seemed like the right move. DeKalb is a lot closer to South Elgin than Harvard is.
Sure.
And I feel like I don't have to do everything myself. I feel like there's 10 other people that want to help out. And we had an off-season practice yesterday, our first one. There's 40 kids in the room. It's different than what I'm used to. And I think for me having to kind of scale back a little bit and kind of reevaluate different things in my life, this is kind of a good move for me.
Sure. And honestly speaking, going back to my days, dating myself back in the 70s, DeKalb was a great program.
Yeah. When I'm an upstate.
I mean, Dan Cliff, 98 pounder was a beast. State champ. I mean, he was a monster. And back then, and I mean they've been kind of in and out since. So you're actually moving into a school that actually has a history.
Yeah, absolutely. They were in my conference when I was in high school, so I've known DeKalb since I was 14. Like I've known of DeKalb. Like we went out there all the time, and I've been friends with Sam since like 1999, I think. And it's a good move. Like, and he's got a lot of really good ideas of how to reinvigorate the program. Like he's been the kids club coach there for a few years. He's got some great ideas with the junior highs. Like we've taken our schedule up a notch. I think there's only like 3 teams in our schedule that weren't in one of the top 25, the Illinois Men top 25s last year.
Good.
like we're trying to move into some of the more national level tournaments. We're not ready for it yet, but I mean,
No.
I'm a believer that the only way to get better is to go really hard during the season, test yourself, and then, have them battle tested so they're more ready for the state series. We'll see. It's a theory.
Well, funny thing, a couple of podcasts ago, I had Lake Highland prep coach Mike Palazzo on, and he made a comment that really was classic when he talked about you have to get out of your neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
And what he completely meant was, putting the tougher schools on your schedule, and then when you're ready for it, maybe going out of state and seeking the tougher competition. And Aaron, I'll go back to you, because let's face it, when you came into Deerfield, and I want you to go ahead and talk about how you ended up at Deerfield, but you started ground zero.
Oh, yeah. Not easy. It was definitely not easy. And like I said before, first of all, I started there because the head coach, Mark Pector, he was a coach and he was a volunteer, a student teacher, and he ended up coaching at Stevenson, where I went to high school,
right,
a year or two after I graduated. So I did know him. And then he got the head coaching job at Deerfield, and I asked him if he's looking for any assistant coaches, any young guys looking to wrestle with the kids, because I was still training for the Olympics at that point.
Sure.
And he said, "Yeah, we'd love to have you." And we were so bad. It was definitely culture shock for me, because I was still a young kid. I was only 20 years old when I started coaching there. This is my 15th.
But with Cohen's judo, you're used to winning.
Yeah, and even when I was in high school, I really didn't, not sounding selfish, but I was so involved in myself. I didn't know what was going on the side. I wanted to win. That was about it. Mm-hmm. And when I got there, I didn't know kids went on Christmas vacation or winter break.
Yeah,
and not just winter break. They went to African safaris and Hawaii. And I'm like, what's going on?
And you have no team for about 2 weeks.
Yeah, it was crazy. We couldn't schedule. We didn't have any schedule during winter break. So, and over after the first year, the second year, all the other coaches were quitting, and I'm the only.
What was your first year?
2002.
Okay.
So I think we were 0-19. There were dual meets where we didn't get a takedown. So, I just like Coach Pector, he's got this kind of like a chip on his shoulder, and this, everybody told him that he couldn't win at Deerfield, that it was going to be impossible, and I basically kind of just saw it in him, and I'm like, man, I think that this guy's doing the right things, and he is very passionate, and he's very good. He is an unbelievable coach, and I wanted to be around that. And I saw, just being around good people, and the culture just changed. He changed the culture, and he got kids year after year to keep believing in it. And even though they weren't the most talented, then you get one or two that start doing stuff in the summer, another two that join clubs. And then, before you know it, now we have, we one of a top program, and we're one of the smallest schools in Class 3A in Illinois, and we're one of the top programs, I think.
Yeah, well, you have one of the lower enrollments when you look at Class 3A.
We're 10 kids away from being 2A. I thought we were going to be 2A with everybody moving up. I saw some teams moved up, so I thought we might drop down, but whatever.
Well, and going back, okay, a couple seasons ago, you guys had your first individual state champion in Colton Emmerich, and I don't know how many years. As an individual state champ, and then you guys made it all the way to dual team state, and you face Lockport, which was, let's face it, Lockport is a powerhouse, Southwest Suburban Conference. They are year after year after year a contender. You guys gave them everything they could handle, and literally that dual meet came down to the last match.
Yeah, they they are a tough team. They are well coached, and they have some studs on their team. And I told you this before. I think we caught a rough break. One of my starters, one of my best kids, even though he was a freshman, As he was a state qualifier and sectional champ this year as a sophomore or last year, but they dinged him. Even though he had a doctor note, they busted it. They said he had ringworm. They said it was alive or something. He had a doctor's note too, but their on-site guy at the last game of the year said that it was ringworm, and I had to put not me, but our team, our coach, we had to put a freshman in, and and that freshman had to wrestle Abdullah Asaf. So
right, yeah, right.
Tough, a tough swing right there.
Yeah, and JD, now coming into DeKalb, kind of what's your vision? I mean, what is your approach? Because you're kind of also starting at ground zero. I mean, they're not a bad team, and they've had some guys, but you basically have to start and reestablish.
Pretty much. We had, I'm kind of – it's interesting because we got a first-year head coach, and Sam's my best friend, but he kind of asks me a lot of questions, like, as far as being a head coach goes. So I'm kind of helping my best friend along and giving him, kind of being like the coach whisperer almost. What we're looking – I mean, we've got right away we got lucky. We've got a kid coming into the program who was an IKWF state champ last year.
Nice.
Legit, yeah. Fabian
What's
Lopez.
his name? Good.
Fabian Lopez. The kid's going to be really, really good. He was undefeated at the kids duels until he broke his elbow.
Ooh.
Like he's still recovering from that, but he'll be fine when the season comes around. Kid's a beast. So right now, what we're trying to do is like Aaron was talking about, kind of changing culture a little bit, and it started over the summertime, and the kids are buying in. They're working hard. We got a long way to go technically. But we got some kids that are going to surprise some people. Down the line, we've got some pretty dang good younger kids. They're going to be all right. I think 3 or 4 years, we're going to really surprise people. But it's really going to take these kids buying in now and understanding the vision of the program. Because like I said, we want to be where Deerfield is. We want to be where Lockport is. We want to be where Oak Park is. And I think that when you're a little bit more isolated out in DeKalb, it's you're not fighting the suburb battle as much, So I think we're geographically we're in a good spot. I think it's just about building up and starting from square one and trying to figure things out. Because we are literally at ground zero trying to figure out people's roles and stuff like that and what we're doing and, the vision of the program. And, it's fun when you're doing it with your friends, guys that you've kind of grown up with.
So which conference do you guys compete in?
Would you believe I can't remember the name of the conference off the top of my head? It's one I'm not terribly familiar. I'm not terribly familiar with the name. It's Canelan and Sycamore, Yorkville, Moline.
Well, Yorkville, Yorkville's got
tough.
A great wrestling tradition.
Very, very tough.
Yeah.
I just can't remember
absolutely.
It's changed names like twice over the last decade, the name of this conference, so I can't remember what the name of it is right now.
Okay.
I think a lot of conferences changed this year. I know the Stevenson conference changed as well.
Yeah, there's been a lot of big conference changes over the last years. Like when I left the Upstate 8 2 years ago, it's almost a completely different conference coming in. So it's difficult to follow this stuff. Like even the school I left at Harvard, they're in a completely different conference this year than they were. It's hard to follow.
So back to you, Aaron. Now on the judo side, your current program, you guys, of course, obviously, was part of it too. Your kids program, and I say this again for people who if you're looking for that option in the off season, because let's face it, if you want to be successful in either judo or wrestling, it's got to be year-round commitment. But your junior program, you guys training camp. Hit all the big four, so to speak, the JA, the JF, the JO, and then, of course, the Junior Open.
What about it?
Well, that's what you gear up for. I mean, during the summertime of the kids program. I mean, and it's like a team thing. It's a family experience because I know back in the day we traveled as a group.
So funny. Sage Heller just texted me back now. So what we do is, it's kind of a tradition. My dad and uncle started a training camp that, we used to, it's funny, like, I'll post a couple pictures online and I'll have past Olympians tell me how they used to run this hill with my dad and stuff. And, Basically we just kept that tradition going of this really tough, intense training camp. And and it's not like high school kids. We're talking young kids. I have kids 7, 8 years old, and we do 3 judo workouts a day plus a run, and then so they're training, just to get them mentally tough and prepared. And then we bring the whole club. There's not as many tournaments as it used to be. It's a little bit different now, but we gear towards the Junior U.S. Open in Florida. Sure. So, I brought 40 of my kids, my judo kids to Florida for a big, big tournament. It was a lot of fun. We did really well.
Yeah, and
we took
go ahead.
We took second as a team overall, but the team that beat us, we beat them last year, and they weren't happy about it. And they were
who was it?
Mayo Quantum.
No, okay. Oh, I got you. Okay.
They were signing up all kids from the East Coast under their club.
Mayo Quanchi's in Rhode Island. Yeah, no, I had a surge. I got you.
There was a girl from Illinois that represented them.
Oh, for goodness sakes!
And I'm like, come on! I'm like, I saw this girl 2 weeks ago at a local tournament.
Oh, brother!
She's not from their club.
Yeah, just so people know, I'll throw another name out there who's very well known in both Illinois wrestling, but for wrestling fans may not know, was a phenomenal judo junior player in Lee Munster.
Oh yeah, he was a beast.
Yep, absolutely. And I used to always love, when Erwin would talk, when we'd go to the tournaments, and bringing out, the big guns, the guys who, when we went, who we knew, like, Lee, et cetera, would
Lee, Brad, and Max Bolen.
Yeah, well, and the Wrights.
I saw them today. I was with them today.
Awesome. Now granted, and Ginsburg, et cetera, and I'm going to speak about this real quick. A lot of kids don't stick with the sport, which is unfortunate, but it's a reality. But talk about the Hellers. The 3 Hellers, which are it's interesting because I've known them since they were little, up to my knee kids, and accomplished in 3A. Now in 2A, Washington had the 4 Punke kids, but in Class 3A, never happened before. 3 brothers, all qualified for state. 2 placed. 1 was in the finals. Talk about the Hellers.
The oldest Heller is a girl named Willow. Actually.
Oh, Willow, right. Yeah, that's a female judo player.
Yeah, she's 20 years old, and she started judo at 5 years old. So, I've known the family. We've known the family pretty much since the boys have been born. And, they caught on pretty quick to judo, and, they were little animals, and they always had that, like, little funky style. Yep. And they were always able to throw from any position, and, they're great kids, and they're a little wild. And they, over the years, they caught on to wrestling. They tried out a bunch of different clubs, to see where they fit the best. And I think it was good. They got a lot of knowledge from a lot of different coaches also. And but the base of their wrestling and the reason why they're so dangerous is because of their judo. They have a great fundamentals and a great base of judo. So, which makes them dangerous in wrestling, and they can wrestle.
Yeah.
Like me, when I was at wrestling, I didn't know any wrestling. I only knew how to try to grab the guy and throw him the best I can.
Yeah, well, and the thing is, the judo kind of gave them the fundamentals as far as, the position, the hips, and picking up the wrestling, learning how to wrestle from the judo background. It's not actually that difficult, when you know the basics. And JD, going forward, teaching at DeKalb, is there any judo specifics you might teach wrestlers?
I'm a big fan of the inside trip. My Japanese is horrible, so I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce stuff.
Ochigari.
Yeah. I started running that series when I was in college. I picked it up from John Stutzman, coach at Buffalo now. So, I mean, I brought that into before I even got into judo, and it you know, the little bit I played around with it worked really well. Like, I think that's one of the fundamental things. I love judo. When my son's old enough, I've told Aaron this before, I definitely want to bring him up to the Cones. It's a trek from where we live, but I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, Brody needs a partner.
Yeah, they're about the same age, man. It'll work out perfect.
Okay.
We're about 16 pounds now.
We are like 17, so we're right neck and neck.
Right there. Yeah, right there. We're definitely right there. So, again, I do want to go back and touch on the female thing because we've seen the rise in the female wrestling. And if you look at the women's wrestling in the Olympics, it's no fluke that the Japanese do so well in that sport because of the judo. And I say again, if you're a parent or if you're a female wrestler, you know, you have a daughter, I'm going to tell you again, if you want to improve, if you want to get into women's wrestling, get into women's judo too, because it will absolutely positively help you because you will have more competition opportunities and it will set you up for success at the next level. Comments?
Agreed 100% on that. I mean, there's so many – the sports are so similar, but yet the differences, I think, is what really helps the other one. Like, cross-training your combat sports is so important. There's so many things from judo that I think that work well into wrestling, just in position and movement. And it's thinking – what I liked about when I was playing with judo is it made me think about things in a different way. Because I think sometimes when you've been wrestling for so long, you get locked into this is the way it's done, this is the way. And it's interesting to kind of come along and have someone different say something to you in a different way that kind of makes a light bulb go off. So for me, coming from the opposite of Aaron, coming from wrestling for decades into judo, it made me think about it differently. It made me appreciate the sport on a different level. So if I could, I would have every kid I ever wrestled for do judo, or ever wrestled for me do judo. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cohen Brothers Judo.
At Cohen Brothers Judo. I did, actually. One of my friends, I recommended him when he kind of outgrew the gym he was training at, and he was kind of stagnant. And the first thing I did is I called Aaron up and I said, "Hey, man, I got a guy who needs help." And I pushed him over to Aaron, and him and RJ did a fantastic job with the guy.
Yeah.
No, he was a beast. I love Nick. He was awesome.
Yeah, and I appreciate you guys taking care of a friend of mine who just needed a little bit of a push in the right direction. And the stuff he learned from you guys, he would come and show me. I'm like, man, they're just on another level. It was awesome.
Absolutely.
I just called him the other day because I want him to help me at I run a big judo tournament every year, and I asked him to come and help.
Yeah, so going forward, okay, Aaron, just real quick, kind of lay out, what does your guys' schedule look like next year, and what are your expectations?
For Deerfield?
Yeah, absolutely.
Our schedule, we definitely had to move some stuff around. I wasn't so happy about it because we were in the Dvorak last year, and I loved that tournament.
Oh, it's an awesome tournament.
I loved it, and it's so tough, and it gives you a great gauge on if you can do something downstate, and if you're mentally tough enough to do something. Mm-hmm. But the bad part for us is that 5 days later is that Palatine tournament, which is very tough.
Yeah.
So
I mentioned a couple of the teams in that tournament. We were talking earlier, just throw it out there.
Sandberg, Lions, Montini. Who else was in it? Barrington's always got some studs. Mm-hmm. Couple, but there's 32 teams in there, So
sure.
Oak Forest used to have some real studs too. They were 2A, but they're tough. Oh, Lincoln Way. Lincoln Way, the 2A one, but they're 3A now.
West, Lincoln Way West, or
Lincoln Way West. They're tough, and I think they're gonna be really tough next year.
Yeah. Oh well, the breakup totally affected them when they.
Yeah, I think it helped them, right?
Yes and no. I could go on and on about the breakup. The team that really got screwed in the breakup was Lincoln Way Central because they lost their best wrestler. Might talk to Jason DiPolo, and they lose the best guy on their team because of the way they redistricted when they shut down the one Lincoln Way. I think it was Lincoln Way North.
Mac, Sage Heller just chimed in, and he's listening live.
Who's that?
Sage Heller's listening live. He wanted me to give him a shout out.
Okay, yeah, good. Well, just tell him to sign in real quick.
Tell him, hold on.
Yeah.
He's probably listening.
Yeah, just send him a link.
But anyway, going back to our schedule.
Yeah.
So we had to move a few things around, and basically we picked up some new duels, and I think we're dueling Lockport this year.
Wow.
We got into the Whitlock. So we pulled out
the Rex Whitlatch?
Yeah, Whitlatch, sorry.
In the Hinsdale Central, basically, is what we're talking about.
Hinsdale Central, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's a really tough tournament, too.
It kind of, like I said, it sucks that we're out of there. And, we see a lot of tough teams throughout the year.
Sure.
I know we're trying to schedule something with Marmion maybe, but I don't know off the whole schedule offhand. But it's a tough schedule, and we got a tough lineup, and we got a lot of backups, and if our kids could stay healthy and get their weights in order.
Yeah. Real quick, go ahead, run through your lineups. I mean, you had a few losses, so who are your returners? Who are your top returners? I mean, I know you lost Sage, obviously, but
go ahead. Last year we didn't even have two state qualifiers in our lineup because they had tough challenge matches and they lost.
Yeah.
Two returning qualifiers. So I think our lineup's going to look like Reese Heller at 106. And this is going to be our regional lineup. Reese Heller at 106, Dylan Utterback at 113.
Utterback, tough. He's tough.
Holden Heller or Kyle Clough at 120 and 126. I don't know who's going to go which weight. Aaron Brayloff, he's really tough, sectional qualifier at 132. Kenny Kirstein, sectional champion at 138. 145 will be Jake Ryson. He's a sophomore. He's really tough. 52, I think, will be. I'm just going off the top of my head. Brock Emmerich, Colton Emmerich's little brother.
Oh wow! Okay, cool.
Yeah, he's tough.
Oh wow! Look at that. We got Sage. All right, Sage. Real quick, this is great to have you on. Listen.
Sage is like my little brother, you guys know.
Oh, absolutely. Okay. This is great. Okay, Sage, real quick. First, I want you to talk about your judo background before you got into wrestling.
Your favorite coach.
Well, talk about the years. Talk about it. When you were a kids competitor.
I definitely struggled a lot.
You took your beating. He took his beating.
Can I chime in on this?
Yo, absolutely.
Okay, before Sage starts to talk, okay? You see that great smile that he has? He's had that since day one, and I'll never forget. And that's why me and Sage have such a great relationship. I've never seen anyone take so many beatings in my life. Like, no joke. He has gotten beaten by everyone. And even though me and his dad butt heads a couple times and, our intentions were always good, I always told him one day, this day is going to come for Sage where he is going to give back those beatings. He's going to give those back. And, and there he is wrestling at on D1 in college on pretty much a full ride scholarship.
Yeah. And I'm getting better every day, training hard. Did 4 miles or 5 miles of like sprints yesterday. Did a couple workouts today, lift at 6:30, hard wrestling practice, and another stadium workout tomorrow. Never stops.
He's wrestling at Hofstra, Mac.
Yeah, right. Hofstra, New York. Yep, got it. Okay, Sage, real quick, though. Go all the way back to when you were a kid's judo player. Now, Willow was your older sister.
Yeah.
Did she pick on you?
Oh, yeah. She used to beat me, too. She used to beat me. I'm not joking.
No,
We
I
were
know,
like-
I know. Good.
We were like the same in weight, and she messed me up pretty good. She was good, though. She was good.
She was really good.
He's back. You know, she's doing judo with me now.
Yeah, I saw the pictures.
Yeah, the funny thing is when you get into the kids judo, because a lot of the girls mature a lot faster than the boys, and a lot of the boys, you know, back in that, you know, when they're 6, 7, 8, 9, 10-year-olds, you know, the girls beat up on them. And then, of course, when they get a little bit older, you're close to that high school age, and the hormones kick in, and they get the man muscles and everything. Then, of course, it kind of totally changes. But it's just so funny, you know, to see back in the day.
I know. It was you know, tough to talk about now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she still kind of holds it over my head. You know, I used to be able to beat you up. And I'm like, you know, it wouldn't be the same now.
Okay, so Sage, real quick, talk about, you know, and I kind of interviewed you guys for Illinois Mat Men when we were at the sectionals, and, you know, all three of you guys as brothers qualifying and going to the state tournament.
Yeah, that was a real good experience. If that didn't happen, you know, I don't know how well I would have done at the state tournament if I didn't have my brothers there wrestling with me. It was definitely a big booster, and it was cool. Even though sectionals didn't end the way I really wanted it to, and but
we had a rough sectional or ending to the section. We had a great start and a rough ending.
Yeah,
with me and Andrew Merholz getting hurt, but no, stuff happens. Andrew's doing great now at Virginia Tech, which is a
Virginia Tech's a powerhouse.
Yeah, he's loving it.
Top school. So, you know, he's back into it. It's all good. What else? What else?
So,
we were talking about our lineup next year, and
you guys are going to be freaking stacked next year.
Yeah.
If only I could be back for another year.
Going even back though, you know, when you guys were all kids, and you know, of course, obviously, when you're in high school, you know, you're part of a wrestling team, etc. But going back to the junior judo side, you know, what it was like, you know, with Cohen's judo and the families, and how everybody, you know, we traveled as a group, traveled as a team.
Yeah, I mean, that was great. I remember it now from when I was, what was I, 6? 7? Yeah. I mean, it's been over 10 years, but I mean, you don't forget things like that. It's really good. And it was fun. I mean, I remember going to, what was it, Fort Lauderdale?
You talking about Junior Open?
Going on the jet skis. Never forget that, because I never got to do it again. But it was fun.
Okay, real quick, let me jump back to JD here. JD, what do you think, you know, like as far as your lineup and how you project going into your season next year?
I'm still so new into things. I'm not 100% sure to venture to guess yet. I know we're gonna have a couple tough kids. Like I said, we got Aikido State champ coming in at either 13 or 20 with Fabian Lopez. We got a couple Fargo qualifiers coming in, Christian Kamitis and Blad Dunwee. So it's all going to be a matter of how things shake out. Like I said, that's more of a Sam Hyatt question right now. I'm just kind of taking it day by day and kind of ingratiating myself into the team.
Sure. And just give the listeners what are kind of like some of your keynote or what are your major events coming up on your schedule next year?
Like I said, we got a pretty tough schedule. We're going to the Cohen tournament, starting off Washington Super Duels.
Wow.
We're going to see.
Washington Super Duels are loaded.
Yeah, they are. And listen,
we're going to be there, JD.
You too?
Yeah,
wow.
And we're also going to the Whitlatch. We'll be there.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I think we got Glenbard North, Marmion, Lockport on the schedule. So Barrington. We got a tough schedule. Like I said, the kids are going to be battle tested coming into the regional, which is the whole point.
Absolutely. Sage, going forward now into college, are you redshirting or you're going to be a true freshman wrestler this year?
Honestly, I have no idea yet. My coach has his own plans. We follow them.
Sure.
But, I mean, if he thinks I'm ready, I'm going to be going to a few open tournaments in the beginning,
right?
No matter what, unattached. And doing good, having some success up there, then he'll definitely probably put me in. So, I mean, we host the conference tournament next year, so I know he's gonna want the best possible lineup next year. So he's gonna do what's best for the team.
Well, Hofstra's got a great wrestling tradition, and they actually wrestle a very tough wrestling schedule. I mean, they're not, like one of the marquee conferences, like, everybody knows the Big Ten, the Big 12, et cetera. But Hofstra's that's a serious wrestling school.
Yeah, we train hard as hell. I mean, literally every day we're doing something different, something that is definitely not easy. So, I mean, he changes it up on us a lot too.
Are you going to do you still practice judo at all? Do you think you're going to continue with the judo? What do you think?
I mean, when I'm home, I'll put on a gi, go out there for fun, kick some butts.
When you say when you're at home, you're going to go to Cohen's, you're going to practice, sure.
And make him come to practice.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Are you going to continue to use your judo in the wrestling?
Yeah, it works. Yeah. Definitely works. I've been hitting it in the room.
Good.
A lot.
What are you using?
It catches guys. Usually, if I have a over/under, I like to hit them with a little uchimata.
Perfect. Okay, that's like an inner leg throw for wrestling people. Do you use it from an underhook and an elbow?
I use it. I have an overhook and an underhook, and I pull with the underhook.
And you step in with your hips and kind of shoot the leg?
Yeah.
Aaron?
And then usually guys don't go down as easy, but
yeah. I'm listening.
But usually guys don't go down as easy. They're pretty strong in college, but it gets them off balance really good.
Right.
Gets them off balance, take a shot. Yeah, foot sweeps work real nice. Opens the guy up.
So JD, are you going to look at maybe kind of incorporating some of the judo moves when you coach at DeKalb?
Absolutely. The little bit of judo I have picked up, I've always tried to bring it in to the program, and I think it helps the kids. It gives them something else to work on. Definitely some foot sweeps, some inside trips. Maybe a little uchimata. I'm hearing Sage likes hitting that a lot, so maybe we'll start incorporating a little bit more of that. But, it's cool, man. I like working on it. Sage, you're in really good hands out there at Hofstra. Dennis is such an awesome guy and a great coach. He's a good dude.
Yeah, he is.
Okay, real quick before we wrap this up, again, I'm going to go back to Aaron and hopefully during the season, I hope we do weekly stuff here so I can kind of, get all the high school stuff going. But as far as Cohen's judo is concerned and their wrestling training, one of the top programs in the country, bar none, Olympians, etc. If you don't know, check them out. They are phenomenal, obviously. I'm a little biased for personal reasons, but the success speaks for itself. I mean, it does.
We were in good hands, you know. My dad and uncle paved the way for us really well, and they taught us, taught us a good structure and a good curriculum how to teach kids, you know, and teach them to have a great fundamentals and a good base in judo, and and have some fun winning with it. So like you said, the results speak for themselves. I think my brother, my brother and I do a great job, and
absolutely.
And it's just we've had a lot of success. There's been a lot of wrestlers in Illinois that have done really well, because of their judo background. So it's a really great tool to have. You know, I call it like whenever I talk to Sage and Holden and Reese, I told them that they can't ever stop doing it because that's their X factor. You know, if you get a guy that you can wrestle that's the same level as you, how are you going to beat him? You know, you need something special to beat them. And they have that X factor, that's something special that's going to get them. You know, yep. I think Andrew Meerholtz didn't start wrestling, but when he was younger, we started doing some stuff with him, and I think it helped him tremendously too. You know, he picked it up pretty quick for someone.
Yeah. Absolutely. He had great success at state.
Oh yeah, he I don't know how, he just picked it up. It's just goes to show you that it's another great tool to have.
All right. And Sage, going forward, what are your expectations now going forward? I mean,
Definitely.
You may or may not wrestle this year, if you're redshirt or not. What are you looking forward to?
I mean, if I'm wrestling, then I'm going for a national title. I don't care. I mean, all these guys are beatable. Nobody's Superman. So, I mean, gotta go out there and wrestle. Gotta be tough and can't stop wrestling.
All righty. And JD, going back to you, going into this next season, what are your expectations? What are you working towards?
Well, like I said, hard for me to put something on there. It's first year, still learning the kids, still learning the program. I think we want to repeat as a conference championship. Mm-hmm. The goal is to win a regional, see what happens from there on out, But really, it's about starting and establishing a firm foundation and building from here. So this is the first. The pebble just got thrown into the pond. We just got to start those ripples.
Amen. Okay, I'm going to wrap this up. I want to say thank you so much to all our guests, particularly, JD joining at the last minute, and then Sage coming in here also at the last minute. This is Mack Bolen, Illinois, MattMen.com, and I want to thank our host, Kurt. Again, we're going to have more of these podcasts in the future. Once the wrestling season starts, hopefully we can do one a week. Next one probably going to be September 27th. We're going to do kind of a Chicago Catholic League thing with two new head coaches, Mike Boyd and Alex Surtsis. And anybody who knows anything about Illinois or Indiana wrestling or is an Iowa Hawkeye fan knows who Alex Surtsis is. And I'm going to say again, one more time, thank you very much, guys. Kurt?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, go. We're done. Go ahead. Anything you want to say, Kurt?
No, just a shout out to AJ for introducing me to you.
Yeah, thanks to AJ.
Thanks, guys.
Give a little shout out to Deerfield Wrestling and All-Time Heating and Air Conditioning.
All right, yeah.
You're in the Chicago Greaterland area. Yeah. You need heating or air conditioning service. All-Time Heating.
All righty. Good. No, that's good, Sage, and I want to wish you good luck on the next level, buddy.
Thank you.
Yes,
thank you.
And JD, you're no position too, JD.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yep.
One question for Sage. What do you see yourself going?
What weight?
Yeah, where are you aiming to be this year?
174 this year.
Cool. Well, we'll watch for you.
Sounds good. I'll be around.
Okay. All right. Thanks, guys.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, guys. JD, good talking to you.
Good talking to you.
And we'll post the link so anybody can catch up on it.
And you can always go to highschoolwrestlingmatches.com. Up at the top under podcasts, go to Illinois, and you can find all the Illinois stuff. So Okay.
All right. Take
Alrighty.
care. Bye bye.
Good night,
ya.
guys. Hope everybody enjoyed.